Simplifying an expression. An expression has been simplified when the following conditions have been met. First, all grouping symbols have been removed. Second, all like terms have been combined. And third, operations have been performed when possible. Now we will sort of deal with these interchangeably, but grouping symbols, removing those, we have to use the distributive property. And like terms, well, we'll actually combine terms together to do that. So first, the distributive property of multiplication over addition or subtraction. It says that we can multiply, if something is outside of our parentheses, we can multiply it to each of the terms inside of that. So A parentheses B plus C, close parentheses, would be equivalent to A multiplied by B plus A multiplied by C. Now the same property works with subtraction. A multiplied by B minus C is equal to A times B minus A times C. So for our first example of this, we have 7 parentheses x plus 4y. We want to use the distributive property to write each expression without parentheses, and then simplify if possible. So I'm going to take 7 multiplied by x, which would be 7x, and 7 multiplied by 4y, which would be 28y, so plus 28y. 7x plus 28y. For our next example, we have 3 parentheses negative 5 plus 9z. We'll multiply 3 times negative 5 to get negative 15 plus 3 times 9z, which is 27z. So we have negative 15 plus 27z. Last example on this page, we have c. It's negative parentheses 8 plus x minus y, close parentheses. Well, that's not a number, but that is saying the opposite of what's inside the parentheses. So we will, in turn, change the sign of everything in the parentheses. This would be minus 8, or negative 8, minus x plus w. Simplify another couple of expressions. We have 3x plus 7 plus 3. Now, there are no parentheses here, but we can combine terms. We can combine the 7 and the 3. They're both constants. These are like terms. So this would become 3x plus 7 plus 3 is 10. 3x plus 10. A second example, I have 5 parentheses 2a minus 5b. So here I will distribute my 5. So 5 times 2a, which would be 10a, minus 5 times 5b. 5 times 5 is 25, so this becomes 10a minus 25b. Now note, we usually use the commutative and associative properties to add in the last step. But in practice, these steps are usually left out, but we should realize that they are used whenever the ordering and grouping in a sum are rearranged. Let's look at some combining like terms, as one of those was. Combine like terms in each expression. We have 12x plus 8x. Well, that is equivalent to saying, because these both have x terms, 12 plus 8, and then multiplying that by x. 12 plus 8 is 20, so this becomes 20x. Our next example, we have z plus 3/5 z. Z plus 3/5 z. Well, the first one, I'm going to write an understood 1 here. That's 1z plus 3/5 z. That would be the same as if I just said 1 plus 3/5 and then multiplied that by z. Well, I would get a common denominator to make this, write this off to the side, 5/5 plus 3/5. Because 5/5 is 1. So that would be 8/5. So that my answer is 8/5 z. My next example, I have negative 2y plus 5y minus 9y. Well, all of those have a y in them, so I'm going to write this as being equivalent to negative 2 plus 5 minus 9, close parentheses, and multiply that by y. So we'll say negative 2 plus 5 minus 9. Well, negative 2 and 5 is 3. 3 minus 9 is negative 6. This becomes negative 6y. All right, our last example in this slide, we have negative 9x squared y plus 3xy squared. Now this is a trick question because if we look at our variable components here, x squared y and xy squared, those are unlike terms. So this would be negative 9x squared y plus 3xy squared, and we cannot simplify that any further. Next we have negative 2 plus 4, parentheses, 8x plus 7, close parentheses. Now first we need to remove grouping symbols, so we'll have to distribute. I'm going to distribute my 4. So this will be 4 times 8x will be 32x. Plus 4 multiplied by 7. That would be 28. Now I'm going to bring down the minus 2 so that this becomes negative 2 plus 32x plus 28. Now I'm going to combine like terms. I have the negative 2 plus 28. Those are both constants. So that this becomes 32x, and then negative 2 plus 28 is 26. So 32 plus 26. Next example is 8 minus, parentheses, 3y minus 5, close parentheses. Again, this minus sign that precedes my parentheses indicates the opposite. So this becomes 8 minus 3y, that's the opposite of 3y, plus 5, because that's the opposite of negative 5, or minus 5. Now, I want to combine my constants, the 8 and the 5. So 8 minus 3y plus 5 becomes negative 3y plus 13. Simplify each expression. We have more examples. We have tons of examples of these because there's a lot that goes into this. 14y plus 2, parentheses, 6 plus 3y. Again, I need to remove my grouping symbols first, so I'm going to distribute my 2. 2 times 6 would be 12. 2 times 3y would be 6y. So that this becomes 14y plus 12 plus 6y. Now I can combine like terms. I have 14y and 6y. That becomes 20y. Write that off to the side. 14 plus 6, all that times y. 20y plus 12. Next example, we have minus, or negative, parentheses, 3 minus r, close parentheses, plus 11r. That will cause me to take the opposite of 3 minus r, which is negative 3 plus r. I'll bring down plus 11r. Negative 3 plus r plus 11r. Well, r and 11r are like terms. That would be 12r. So I have 12r minus 3. My next example, we have 9k minus 6 minus 3, open parentheses, 2 minus 5k, close parentheses. Again, we will distribute the 3 here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and distribute a negative 3 because the negative is going to change the signs here. It's going to take the opposite. So when I distribute, I'm going to think negative 3 times 2, which is minus 6, and negative 3 multiplied by negative 5k, which would be plus 15k. And I'm going to bring down 9k minus 6 so that this becomes 9k minus 6 plus 15k. Now I have two sets of like terms. I have 9k plus 15k. Adding 9 and 15, I find that is 24k. Next, I have minus 6 and a minus 6. Combining those would be minus 12. So this is 24k minus 12. Next example, you have a ton of them. Negative 2, parentheses, x minus 6, close parentheses, minus x. Again, I will distribute the negative 2, thinking of that as a negative. Negative 2 times x would be minus 2x. Negative 2 times negative 6 would be plus 12. And I'll bring down minus x. So this is negative 2x plus 12 minus x. And I have two like terms, negative 2x minus x. That would be minus 3x. So minus 3x plus 12 is my simplified expression.